All right. We will hear from the awardees now. So, would you like to sit in the auditorium, whichever is comfortable for you all? Yeah. You all can sit here, or you want to? You can sit here. So, let me. We will request the awardees to say a few words, and then we will have felicitation by some of their close friends and family who will address them. The children have been waiting to perform. I believe their audio system is working. So once the speeches are done by the awardees, we will have the quick performance and then we will continue. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. Special thanks to Mr. Kevin Paul, Mayor of Pearland, Texas, for attending this program. This is really an excitement moment for me. Don't know how to explain all this from Sri Govardhan Nathji's Kripa. Without his grace, this is impossible. Hindus of Greater Houston and Seva International Houston has done great job. From too many organizations, select one or two. Niswas Sevak means the selfless Sevak, which is titled as Lifetime Achievement Award, and Akhil Chopra Selfless Service Award is a challenge. I was surprised when I heard about this award, wondering about it, how that happened, because my life was full of hurdles. Let me brief you all. When I was 7-year-old, lost my grandfather who was alive in Petla and was making only 25 rupees per month. After 4 months later, I lost my father, and he was suffering by paralysis. He was loyal with Seva Bhavi nature. He helped and he did free services for who cannot afford the court fee. My mother, with 4 children, no income, going through hardship, decided move back to our city, Nadiyad. My life started in Nadiyad with the 2 older brothers, Chandrakant Desai and Indravada Desai. Also 2 younger brothers, Devendra Desai and Subhas Desai. Luckily, we had a chance to go in Santaram Mandir near us. And there are so many activities going on in temple for the kids. Especially, I like one of that activities was about memorizing and chanting and speaking Srimad Bhagavad Gita slok without any mistake. If you speak in front of volunteer, then you will earn 1 anna for that slok, which is 1/16 of the dollar. At that time, that was so impressing me because by chanting Gita is for 2-month vacation, we can earn enough money to get our books, to get our clothes, and help our family. This way we survived, get our education, and slowly we came to Houston, Texas, USA. Whole family settled in Houston. After a few years, because of health, Indravada has to move New Jersey. I came to Houston with zero knowledge of Pushti Marg. In 1985, when we started this VPSS, Kanubai Modi has arranged Srimad Bhagavad Katha by Param Pujya Goswami 108, Shri Mathureswarji Maharaj Shri, and Param Pujya Goswami 108, Shri Indira Betiji Mahodaya. At that time, I took a vacation so my mother can attend the Sapta. During that time, I did babysitting. Kanubhai Modi noticed that and he asked me to join VPSS. Since then, I am a part of VPSS. So I started my sevas with VPSS since 1985. With the God's grace, I still can perform that with all the blessing from the Vadis and the Vaishnavas. So Sri Govardhan Maharaj's Krupa, Vallabh's blessing, Vadilo's Ashirvad and family support, I am able to do seva in many fields. Let me share with you my first satsang experience at Nikunj house. It is very surprising that everyone was singing Vallabhastak part. I was given a book so I can sing. But at the end, the first line was repeated. I didn't know about it. So I said, hey, it is not in my book. And you know what happened? My mother said, Hirani Khanma Kolso Pakyo. I don't know exactly how to say in English, but the meaning should be like this, that from Diamond Valley, we received the charcoal. That's what I understand. Anyway, from here I started my services for Srinathji Baba, or actually VPSS, in many different fields, such as Ratnaben said, accounting, database, maintenance, audio, video, kitchen. Anywhere we need help, I was there. Basically, we started journey from garage, and garage means the first Thakurji came in my garage, and my mom worshipped for 5 years, and then we found the place on Bincliff for Thakurji, and we moved over there. Slowly but securely we reached up to here. This is not only by me, but took lead and responsibility. During this time, I might have made a mistake, but convince myself that if you are working, then mistakes can be possible. Because dead bodies or not working cannot make a mistake. In another words, it won't bother me. If I made a mistake, I can correct it. Never give up, but try to correct mistake. I think this becomes the cause of why I am getting this Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you, Taraji. Appreciate for bringing Mayor of Fairland for this function with his wife. That's our honor. Thanks to Rashish Bhi Dalal, Niranjan Bhai Patel for arranging this function. Thanks to everyone who helped and attend this function. Thank you very much. I don't want to say everybody's name and take a time, but I thanks again to everyone. Without your people's support, I cannot do this what I am doing. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Venugopal Menon to kindly come over and share his thoughts today.
Well, Namaste, Namaskaram, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Kevin Cole and Mrs. Cole, for honoring us by your distinguished presence. And thank you, all my distinguished friends, to have taken your time and come and attend this function. Listening to the profuse introduction by Tupil, I was looking at my face She looks sort of perplexed. This is the same guy you're talking about that I have known for 60 years. Thank you, people, for the. I stand immensely honored, grateful, and humbled by this glorious recognition. And thank you, each one and every one of you, organizers, for bestowing this on me. It's a really, really big honor. And equally baffled how I deserve this. If it is because my name was connected to Meenakshi temple, yes, I was involved with the temple from day one. And for that, I understand. But then, since the podium belongs to Hindus of Greater Houston, my question is, it's fair to ask, what have I done for the Hindus of Greater Houston? Perhaps it's my age, like the news of the 99-year-old completing marathon. And for that, thank God for stretching it this long. Thank you. But this award, honestly believe it's a collective recognition. The individual, me, is irrelevant. In such an occasion, I am inconsequential. But it's a purpose. The principle behind this is awarded is what the credit should be bestowed on. So, since my name was connected with Meenakshi temple, all the friends, my Meenakshi temple family, this award belongs to all of you. And thank you for allowing me to do that. But having said that, I am going to keep this for the time being. I would like to, with your permission, share some of my thoughts because I think this is an extended Hindu family and I can be open to whatever I feel and you would take it in the same sense it is meant to be, meant to, I am speaking. Okay. Several years ago, a few decades, Janmashtami celebration was conceived as to bring all the Hindus together. The humblest of visionaries, Rajsyal Sahab, my good friend, he is the one who initiated that concept that all of us Hindus should belong to one umbrella, to create in us a sense of belonging, a shared commonality under the principles of Sanatana Dharma. And more importantly, on how, as immigrants and Hindus, we as a group blend in with the mainstream and contribute to our acquired domicile and be understood the way we want them to understand us. And that is the bigger purpose. Looking back, all 50 organizations also, including 37 temples, and Hindus of Houston, we have done a fantastic, fabulous job. Way beyond our religious needs, we have shared it with the community we live in. And kudos to the leaders and volunteers for making it happen. Let's look at some other things. For Sri Meenakshi temple, we are embarking on a project. We call it Go Green Solar and Security Initiative, and also a worthwhile project which we call it Next Generation Initiative to bring on the next generation to pass the baton on to. Recently, as Taraji mentioned, MTS, along with Hindus of Greater Houston, commemorated the 75th independence celebration under the guidance of the Consul General of Houston, and we recognize 75 youth from all around the community. The phenomenal work of Seva International, I don't have to elaborate, is legendary. Arya Samaj, I take my hats off to Mahajanji and the team, DAV Montessori School, involvement in Habitat for Humanity, Interfaith Ministry, I Educate, Red Cross, and a whole bunch. The contributions galore of BAPS, BPSS, Chinmaya Mission, and others, feeding the hungry, blood drives, education, charitable health clinics, Hindu Heritage Youth Camp, Eternal Gandhi Museum, I can go on and on. And a very special applause to the Hindu American Foundation for the grassroots initiatives. And they are trying their best to educate the mainstream who we really are and how we should be adapted to. But this is where I deviate from all the accolades. When you look closer to all these accomplishments, all these offerings are through our selective organizations. But if posted under the credit column of Hindus of Houston as a community, we would benefit immensely from the leverage that we really need. That is my message for the evening. And I'm so surprised and proudly felt so excited to see that Ekta mein Shanti, Ekta mein Shakti, unity is power. Precisely, that's the whole message I want to convey this evening. But I'm not done. Here are a few of my thoughts. If HGH is an umbrella organization as CRG envisioned, are some of us still getting wet, or are all of us being sheltered from the heat? Do we feel, I'm asking each of you, when you come and sit there, do you feel you belong to Hindus of Greater Houston, or as members of Meenakshi Temple, Arya Samaj, or BPSS? Ask yourself. I suspect our identity has remained static as Tamilians, Gujaratis, Malayalis, Bengalis, or Punjabis. Being Hindus seems like just a secondary appendage, an ancillary option, if you may. Some analogy, we have preferred to remain as pearls in a bowl, not laced together as a beautiful necklace. We have chosen to stay as threads, not bound together as a strong rope. Look at nature, how it functions. Creator has offered us flowers, not loose petals. Raindrops need to blend in to benefit us as rivers. If we boast of a solid foundation based on the profound tenets of our Sanatana Dharma or pristine faith, we have created fabulous pillars embellished as temples and other intuitive philosophies. But if we claim that we have an edifice on top, nourishing our commonality as Hindus, I doubt. Ask our members, as I asked earlier, of any organization, how many of them know much about Hindus of Greater Houston or what we do? You will get answers. Not being negative, but I have a bucket list of I would say observations, call it apprehensions or minor disturbance, that hopefully I'm requesting HGH take a look and see it as one voice. One is so-called Hindu phobia. I would say, call it as pandemic bashingness. It's a global reality. Maybe it's pocketed and sporadic, but it is nevertheless a reality. Universities having symposium against the Hindu habits, our nemesis of casteism and allegations against the minorities, all of that. Then, the word Hindutva, literally the Sanskrit meaning of Hindutva is Hinduness, the way one Hindu lives. But it is concocted as a sinister alternative to our fundamentals. Ask anybody what is Hindutva means. It is a nemesis against Hinduism. We swallow it just like we swallowed millennia ago when outsiders dumped the term Hinduism on Sanatana Dharma. Then secularism. It is a profound principle, but a Damocles' sword just hanging over the heads of Hindus. I'm talking mainly about in India. In the media, almost, I wouldn't say all against, but many against the doings, Hindus' doings. There is nothing good about it or what. It's in India, US, Britain, elsewhere. Why? And ironically the worst. This is something we have to pay great attention. Our younger generation, many among them is buying into such. From journalistic approaches to political dialogues, from universities to social media, they seem to be uneasy of our conducts, Hindu handlings. They remind me even of the colonial times when many Indians turned against India. Call them ABCDs, but they may have a point, and it's for us to look and find out and correct it. Sanatana Dharma, the eternal righteousness, with its universal intolerance and principles of inclusiveness, must be a globally acceptable, generous, conscientious way of living. Why is it suddenly an object of criticism? Are we holier than thou as we preach, or are we messing up with some basic housekeeping rules? Check it out. I want to share a recent sort of disturbing experience. Hinduism in Kerala, many of you are aware of, is facing a vanishing presence. A fast downward spiral in numbers on social, financial, and political relevance. We are crashing. An individual from Hindu Seva Kendram was in Houston wanting to share the situation to our Hindus, and Arya Samaj was gracious enough to organize a meeting. The attendance was pathetic. But I am not blaming. I am blaming only the Hindus in Kerala who are experts in splitting and not uniting. Trained as a pediatrician, I equate Kerala Hindus to sick children. They don't know what is ailing them. They don't know where it hurts or what is hurting. They just cry and they blame others. But anger and hatred would not solve our problems. Sadly, Keralites excel only beyond the borders of our state. Modern version of Lakshman Rekha. It burns them inside. Let's get back to HGH. I'm sorry I'm taking too much time. Being ostriches is not a choice. After temples, rituals, religiosity and philosophy, beyond pleasing the gods, we must reach out to humans. The social and communal issues of Hindus, even political standing. beyond the constraints of the temples and outside the cocoons of non-profit confines, we need to explore and act. Envision, this is an invitation. Envision HGH expanding its horizons. I request each of you, all the members, each individual Hindu, all our audience speaking in one voice. I'm so glad Rashesh mentioned that in the very beginning. Let's speak in one voice. Allocating resources without money, nothing works. And gods do not mind sharing. And committing for that common goal, we will be heard loud and clear. As Hindus, we have a certain, thank you. As Hindus, we have a certain moral or fiduciary promise to stand behind our broader interests. It's not optional, it is mandatory. Very much essential now more than ever. Thank you for listening. Thank you for this. I stand humbled. God bless you all. Hari Om.
That was excellent, and now we are inviting Nikhil Jain. And by the time he comes here, let me tell you one thing. I was sitting here, somebody came to me and he was talking to me. Is there any snacks after the meeting? Do we have tea or coffee? And I said yes. So whatever our conversation, I'm telling you. Here is Nikhil Jain.
Jai Janendra, Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna. To all the respected audience, Mayor Call, I am truly honored and humbled by this recognition. My naman to Dr. Venugopalji and Srimati Sarlaji. I don't know how many of you observed that when I was sitting there, I put my chair a few inches behind. I wish I would have put in the backstage, because I'm not as capable as these guys are, So congratulations on your felicitation and for the outstanding dedication and community service. Now when I grow up, I would at least try and fit in your shoes sometime. Thank you Taraji, Rasheshji, Vijayji and all the HGH board members for bestowing this honor on me. I have accepted it only on behalf of all the dedicated Seva volunteers. I would not have been here without the incessant support of my family, Ritu, Suvi, Rashu, my parents, my brother, family. They all have been silently volunteering with me at so many events, programs, be it the food drive or packing boxes, shipping, rebuilding, vaccination drive and much more. Thank you is a small word that will only belittle the support I receive from them every day. Thank you to my Seva family for providing me this opportunity and platform to serve our community and beyond and making me a better person. Kavita ji, Arun ji, Dinesh ji, Ashlesh ji and many more. I could just keep saying names. And as we do, we say wow. Say wow. Yeah, there you go. Thank you to my extended family and friends, JVB family, the Madhya Pradesh Mitra Mandal family, many of whom are in the audience today. They have volunteered with me, they have supported me, Seva programs and projects and cheered for me. Many could not come today, so they asked me, do you have a rain check? And I said, I'll request HGH to give this award to me next year again so that they can come. Thank you to my co-workers and applicants, where Pankaj and I work together. I thrive on the flexibility to toggle and take care of things between work, family and volunteering. Let me ask the audience very quickly about the motto or the taglines of the organizations I volunteer with. First of all, with Seva International, what's our tagline?
Together we serve better.
Together we serve better. we have a very fantastic program in Seva, AmeriCorps. What's the tagline of AmeriCorps?
Getting things done.
Getting things done. What's the tagline of JVB? Jai Vishnu Bharati, where I volunteer too. Omaram is the word we use, but the tagline is to develop a healthy individual and a healthy society. That's what we do there. And lastly, what's the tagline for Madhya Pradesh Mit Mandal? Exactly. Majekoro is the Hindi word, and the tagline is just have fun with like-minded people. You know why I asked you all to say about these 4 taglines? Because if you combine these 4 taglines, together we serve better, getting things done, to develop a healthy individual and a healthy society, and just to have some fun. This is what I try my best to weave in myself so that I can do what I've been doing so far. We all know that a child learns from his parents. However, a child does not learn from what it is told to him or her. The child learns best what he or she sees in her parents doing. And that's what I saw my father serving the Jain community in Devas, my mother heading the Mahila Mandal in Devas, the city I belong to, I grew up with. Actually, I belong to Houston now. That's the city I grew up with, correction. My father-in-law serving and leading the Bank Retirees Association Indore for 20 plus years. That's where my learning of community service began. And to all of you here, and many who could not come today, you're also the set of like those parents to me. Because who I watch, doing volunteering, and which is what I try to emulate. I moved to Houston in 2001, quickly realized we have a huge, diverse and well-knit community, full of service leaders, philanthropists, and who make a difference in our society every day. It'll be very hard for me to fill in the shoes of my fellow past awardees from Seva International. Madanji, who you heard, epitome of Seva, Vasudevji, and Vivekji. Taraji, Vivek is very jealous today. You know why? Because when he was given this award a few years ago, you announced it only once. But when he gave it to me, you announced it twice, last year and this year. But no matter, wishes, whether you double tip or triple tip, they're always welcome. A small incident from a food drive in an apartment in Rosenberg in May of 2020. While serving, I noticed a little girl, around 6 years of age, who came to pick a bag of food and a can of milk. I did not see anyone else with her. So I just went to her and said, she was too young to carry that weight, absolutely not even a can of milk. And I asked her, where are your parents? I asked her that, can I carry this for you to your apartment? And she said, yes. So I carried the bag of food and the can of milk, put it to the apartment door, and I asked her, where are your parents? And she said, my mother is doing a job, and she asked me to collect this food and keep it in the house. This was an early moment of the pandemic, which is what made me feel much is being done, but so much more of community service needs to be done. That's what kept us all going at Seva International. I've been following 3 things to keep the Seva movement going: make our community a better place than what it was yesterday, let action speak louder than word, and then set examples by doing things. So I'll try my best to live up to the legacy created by late Akhil Chopra and the legacy created by the many wonderful community leaders just that we saw two of them here. Lastly, I hope to see you all at Seva's annual gala at GSH Event Center on December 4th, Sunday at 4:30 p.m., where we will celebrate community service and pledge to keep it going. Now, here's the tricky part. Seva volunteers will be standing on the door checking with each of you whether you have got the gala ticket or not. So just be careful. Now, Dhanyavad, Abhar. If you're not already done, go out and vote on Tuesday. And the last word of the day, but the most important, go Astros.
Thank you. Also request Dr. Ratna Kumar, Arun Kankani, Suvi Jain, and Vinod Kailaji to please come up.
I know that you all have a lot of patience. These individuals on the stage, they worked so hard, so many years. So I'm glad we all have enough patience to listen to them. And so with all, I'm going to start talking about, it's my privilege to talk about Sir Levin. I will talk very briefly because a lot of things I was going to talk already Sir Levin and Rachnavan talk about her. So my objective to introduce Sir Levin as working with Sir Levin, what is my experience, what I learned, how she is. So one thing I noticed when I was listening to the speech from Rachnavan, she's an iron lady. I was trying to relate how she can be Iron Lady. Then I found out she used to live in Karamsad and a few blocks away Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel used to live there. So same water she drinks. So I can see that correlate. She is the Iron Lady. And a few things I would definitely talk about Sir Levin. She started working with VPSS when we were building our first Haveli in Hillcroft. So in the 1985, VPSS was founded. And whatever courage and power she got it from her mother, Daiva. When they decided to start VPSS organization, she come forward. We were looking for a place where to start. It's easy to do on paper, but who wants to? She says, I will offer my garage to start this VPSS. So the VPSS journey is starting from garage to this place where we all are sitting. It's the whole path Sir Levin conquered. In the few years, she was involved because of her our previous management, late Shri Kanwai Modi, Ravji Mamas and Suresh Bhai's father Shantilal. They saw her involvement in VPSS and they offered, why don't you come and help us more? And very first thing she did, she took responsibility. Then they, looking to her compassion and her passion and commitment, they decided to offer her the president's position in VPSS. And since she took the position, very first thing she looked is accounting. To control any organization, she worked on accounting part to keep us as a non-profit organization and streamline. And she performed until 2010 and hand over to Rashesh Bhai now. So, not limited to accounting, she started with AV, audio video things. She used to handle HVAC, contracts. All in short, I would say in one word, from cashier to kirtans, she can go and sing the kirtans. So she can perform anything. If nobody's here, that's why she's an Iron Lady. And one thing I definitely like to share, one time I asked her, with the grace of Thakurji, God, and Vallabh, her aging process almost stopped. She looks always young. She is always energetic. So I was curious. I say, how you can do that? I want to know the secret. And I said, don't you get tired? And her answer was very interesting. She says, yes, I do get tired, but change of work is my rest. So she's continuously working. So anything you do continuously, you get tired, she do other work, but she will never stop working. So I'm really privileged to tell that we are working with such a strong lady and we are very proud of her and she really deserves this. In her dictionary, there is no word like impossible. So when they told me to speak about Sir Levin in 4 minutes, I said, that's not possible, but I'll make it possible. So I'm finishing. In 4 minutes, I told everything what about Sir Levin. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank you for your time and for your very small gift from HGH. I would like to now invite Dr. Ratna Kumar to say a few words about Dr. Venugopal, her personal friend, his daughter's teacher. Ratna Kumar, as you all know, they're a very famous person in Houston. Most of you know me. You will all introduce me to her later. Thank you.
Respected, Mr. Cole has come. Okay. To the elders in this auditorium, my humble pranams. To my peers and to the young ones, greetings. Namaskar. Tara, thank you for this privilege and joy of being able to say a few words about a person I admire and respect profoundly, whom I love dearly as my Chetan, my big brother, Dr. Venugopal Menon. I'm very moved to be able to say something about him. I could speak volumes, but in the interest of time, I will be brief. I wrote something a little funny because Venu, as I call him, Venu Chetan, is very, very, very special. His family is like my family. His two daughters were my first students in the year 1975. Other than the Mahajans, Sayals, and a couple of others, the Appans, probably I have known the Menon family the longest here, and very, very proud to say that. And Kandapan, if he's here. Venugopal, now that name is also that of Krishna's, another name for Krishna. And in Venu's case, if you take that as synonymous with Krishna, then I would say, as in Sanskrit, it is Sardhaka Namadheyam, meaning one who has lived up to his name, to the full meaning of that name. Krishna, like Krishna, our Venugopal has been a friend, a philosopher, and a guide to many an Arjuna in Houston. Maybe he doesn't play the flute. If he had, probably he would have mesmerized all the flora and fauna here. But wielding the stethoscope, he has performed his own leelas, saving numerous patients with severe and sometimes life-threatening allergies, one of them being my younger son Kedar, who was his patient for many years, for which we're very grateful. That is what Krishna was. Krishna is someone we go to for help in times of need. And in times of need, when we had allergies in those days, and he was a practicing immunologist, everyone went to Dr. Venugopal Menon, even visiting artists who got sick. Well-known eminent artists from India, when they got sick, everyone went to see Dr. Venugopal Menon. His name was legendary as a doctor. To all the members of my family, including my late mother, my aunt, my husband, my children, my siblings, my nieces and nephews, and everyone, not just me in Houston, but my family members everywhere else in the United States and India, the Menon family has become their extended family. Now, such closeness is possible only when chemistry works. And that doesn't happen with everyone. But this extraordinary chemistry is something that Dr. Menon has shared with almost everyone he has met in his life. It is an all-pervading feeling, this closeness. People feel that with him because of his calmness, his compassion, his kindness, and his willingness to always help. A physician by profession and an army doctor at that, Dr. Menon is one of those rare people that is good at everything that he does. And that is because he puts his heart and soul and infuses everything, every task he undertakes with a large dose of sincerity. Judging from the books he has written, you know that he's not just a doctor, but an excellent writer who paints word pictures with his impeccable English. His storytelling is so evocative in the descriptions that he has written in both his books that a lot of Kerala comes alive, though you may have never visited the place. And for those of you who do not know, he has another side to him. If you have seen him on stage performing the traditional Kerala art of Ottam Thullal, you will know that this man is not just a doctor and a writer, but he is an artist, and a good one at that. A very devout Hindu more than anything else. Dr. Menon moved with his family to Pearland to be close to Meenakshi temple so that he can better serve the goddess by the proximity of his abode. And not just a devotee, he was an executive board member, advisor, and now chairman emeritus of the advisory council. And his service to the temple is not just service to the Meenakshi temple, but service to Hinduism itself. Dr. Menon is one of those very rare human beings. He is a person who has straddled both cultures very well. Though he came to this country almost 50 years ago, he has not once forgotten that he is first an Indian and then an American, and that he is first a Hindu and then a citizen of the world. And he has practiced his Sanatana Dharma very truly and has raised his children to respect their Hindutva in the real sense of the word. And he has inspired all of us who have known him to follow in his footsteps, to emulate him to the best of our ability. And though we will never be, as Nikhilji had said, to fill the shoes of the wonderful people who have been felicitated today, lives of great men and women remind us that we can make our lives sublime. And we don't want anyone to depart, but they do, and they have left their footprints on the sands of time. And it is our duty to step into those footprints and try to become like them and serve the larger community in the best way possible. I am so, so proud to call myself your little sister, Meenu, and you are so deserving of this award for what you have done. You won't know what you have done. All of us do. Thank you, HGH, Seva International, and Tara for giving me these few moments to speak about a very beloved brother of mine. I always wanted, being the eldest in the family, I was always dying to have an older brother. I got one in 1975. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We just left with just about a couple of speakers. I would like to invite Dr. Vinod Kaila to quickly come. He's the chairman of Meenakshi Temple to say a few words.
Good evening everyone. You can hear me? So I'm going to just get into it. Dr. Menon, congratulations to you on receiving this prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award from HGH. When Dr. Menon talks, people listen, and when he writes, people read it. That is why he is the go-to man for Sri Meenakshi Temple and other organizations. I am simply amazed at his contagious enthusiasm to promote Sri Meenakshi Temple activities and his untiring participation in all MTS activities. He has set an example for all of us at MTS as to how to live peacefully and happily after retirement by contributing to the society we live in. He has held all types of positions at MTS Temple. He has to recognize the contribution to Sri Meenakshi Temple, he has been appointed as Chairman Emeritus of Sri Meenakshi Temple, a lifetime appointment. Tipu has already mentioned many of the Venu's accomplishments and there's no need to repeat them. Personally, for me, both as a devotee and Chairman of the MTS now, Venu has been a good friend, a guide and an advisor on the temple matters during good times and difficult times, and I thank him immensely for that. So, he has been one of the greatest assets to our temple. Venu, the MTS family is immensely happy, and the recognition about the recognition and the presence of many MTS folks who in attendance this evening. It's a testament to your contribution to Hindu community and particularly to Sri Meenakshi Temple. And he joins two others from MTS, Dr. Appan and Dr. Kannappan, who received this prestigious award. I thank the HGH board for the opportunity to felicitate Dr. Venugopal Menon on this occasion.
Appreciate it, Chairman Kaila, for taking time to be here. Young voice we miss a lot. And so, when Suvi Jain said she would like to talk about her dad, I got excited. I said, Suvi, you will be up, and I'm sorry I'm putting you in the end, but let us all wait to listen to the beautiful Suvi Jain. She's one of the awardees of a 75 number this year also.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, namaste, and Jai Janendra, everyone. My name is Suvi Jain, and I have the utmost pleasure of introducing or explaining a little bit about a man who needs no introduction, Nikhil Jain, or Dad, if you ask me. Now, I could go on about his volunteering feats, but I wanted to give a background on who he is as a person. His character is what I believe truly led him to achieve this award today. Dad is the only person I can honestly say has done everything he set his mind to. The same dedication you see him put into volunteering, he has put into raising my sister Rashu and I. Whenever I think of my dad, three main characteristics come into my mind. His compassion, discipline, and unyielding support have been a vital part of our upbringing. To show you all how he embodies these characteristics, I'll share three short stories. First, his compassion. And as Madanji mentioned, if you have volunteered with him, you know he puts his heart and soul into any task at hand. He seriously never sits still. My family and I have seen his compassion in a more subtle yet nurturing way. For example, my cousin Nir's 6th birthday. To make Nir feel special, Dad devised a plan to go to 6 different restaurants to get all of his favorite foods. That night's dinner consisted of sweet tomato soup, Domino's pizza, and of course, paneer. This display of compassion has stuck with me throughout the years. The next quality, discipline. If you're familiar with Dad's work ethic, this really needs no elaboration. As many of you know, he does not stop until he gets the job done, all while staying extremely organized and being a perfectionist. This discipline is what led him to be at the top of his class in his schooling and land a great first job. In fact, at this first job, he noticed the CEO pick up a small piece of trash from off the floor and throw it away, which he found very peculiar. He asked around the office, why would a man of his title do such a seemingly mundane task? He then realized the CEO's philosophy. Everyone has a responsibility to take care of their own environment. This small deed can actually lead to a much larger impact. I noticed Dad doing the exact same thing growing up. He had formed this into a habit, just like the CEO had. And I, as a young impressionable child, found myself starting to do the same exact thing. And I still do to this day. Lastly, his unyielding support. Stereotypically, our community teaches us to become doctors or lawyers or engineers, right? Dad never put this kind of pressure on Rashu or I. He always wanted us to follow our dreams and passions. Now, although I did end up majoring in engineering, I was on the dance team in college and did dance growing up. However, right before high school, I ended up moving. My family and I, we moved from Cyprus to Katy, which meant my dance studio was now 40 minutes away. Nevertheless, each Saturday for 2 years, Dad drove me there, waited for an hour and a half, and drove all the way back, and not once did he complain. To him, those 3 hours were not a sacrifice, but an investment into my passion. Dad, thank you for being you. Everyone you meet is instantly hit with your charisma, intelligence, and drive. Mom, Rashu, and I are so proud to support everything you do. Here's to hopefully many more awards in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Actually, the award is also given to your daughter. Just kidding. Last and but not the least, but the most important, is the president of the Seva International USA. None other than Arun Kankani is in town and he's joining us. Please welcome with a big applause, Arun Kankani ji.
Before I speak, I would request Suvi to share something which you will find more interesting than what I speak.
Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about how my name Suvi was formed. So Mom and Dad, I think they wanted to be different and quirky, so they decided to combine my Dada, Virendra, and my Dadi, Sudarshana's name. So with the first 2 letters of Sudarshana, SU, and the first 2 letters of Dada, VI, formed Suvi. So that's how my name came to be. And oh, and Rashu as well. So her name was combined with my grandparents from my mom's side, Ramesh and Rajni. They took the Ra and Sha and combined it to form Rashu.
That's so sweet.
Was it not more interesting? Now I will tell you the one last thing of this part. His brother has carried on the tradition, and his brother Sachin they have named their son starting with Ni and R. Ni stands for and R stands for Ritu. So this is very interesting. Generally I always like people to have the names which indicates some meaning, some inspiration. When I heard the word Suvi, I said it doesn't make sense. What is this? I am hearing this word first time. So I went into detail and then found and then thought that yes, this also could be a very, very inspirational thing for all of us. All of you have seen, Nikhilji has shared, others have shared. So what are the qualities we have already seen? Humility, that is showing by action. Humorous, fun, you all have seen it. These 2 things are comes very naturally to him. Along with this story would have showed you very innovative and creative. So these are very nice, very beautiful qualities that he has. One thing in Bhagavad Gita, the shlok is there that Mukta Sango Anaham Vadi धृति उत्साह समन्वितः सिद्ध सिद्धयो निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते. Now Sarla Ben herself is not here, otherwise I would have asked for one Anna, even though this is not Santana Mandir, but at least this is VPSS. So this Utsahi part also is very, very important, being enthusiastic. And this is something I lack and I see at him, always being enthusiastic, always full of energy. I will just read out a few kind of sentiments that has been expressed by the colleagues. Not read out all of them, just one sentence which will define the whole essence. A great leader who walks the talk, at the same time he never fails to crack a joke to lighten the atmosphere and help everyone to be the best version of themselves. Is always there to guide us and support us whenever we need any help. The most responsible, hardworking and dependable team player who inspires. He has been an exemplary and dependable Seva Bhavi Karyakarta, one of the best servant leaders, a great example to the rest of us for how to balance life, family, job and community center. He is a great Yaron Ka Yaar. So these are the things which has been shared by colleagues. I will just end in the Indori tradition. I understand, I came to know this Indori tradition, that whenever there is some ceremony, they say kind of a song to describe the personalities. This I came to know when we went to HGH's birthday and he read out the whole poem for him. So this is not the entire poem. I am also just sharing 4 lines. Akhil Jagataka Chahe Mangal. Now Akhil, you word I have used specifically. This is Akhil Chopra Memorial Award. I am sure that most of you do not know him now. August 11th, 2005, a bullet took him away from all of us at age of 28, in whose memory we have this award installed. Very, very dedicated Karyakarta. For me, it was a personal thing because he was working with me in Star Pipe. We worked together in Seva and all the other activities that was there. And it is really apt that Nikhil and others who have received this award are all such exemplary service that Seva Bhav they have reflected. So in his memory, this first word, Akhil Jagat ka chahe mangal, prasanna utsahi guno ka sangam, निखिल है सेवा भाव का विग्रह, यारों का यार, कुटुंब प्रिय और सर्वेंट लीडर. So as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, Taraji mentioned at the beginning, so we all really pursue this path of being the Vigrahavan for Dharma or for Seva. Namaskar.
And guess who's going to talk next? None other than Vijay Palodji, who will be presenting a voice and a word of thanks. And before that, I would like to honor the MC of this evening, Maitreyi Astigiri did a wonderful job. Please give a very big round of applause.
I want to apologize to every one of you on behalf of Hindu Supplementary Resistance for not keeping the commitment of time. We are over 40 minutes, our time limit, and I will request our board of advisors and the members to seriously think about how we can avoid this error in the future. So that was my word of thanks is going to be very simple. I want to recognize 2 people in this audience. One is Sheshadri Kumarji, who came all the way to cover this event, and our board of director, I cannot see her, Manisha Ji Gandhi, for covering for TV Asia. That's all, and I have one small explanation to make. Why am I wearing a t-shirt at a Hindu event? Because last 2 times I did not wear this shirt, Astros lost. Thank you, and धन्यवाद.
Please, the refreshments and hot tea is ready. Sorry, we ran a little late, but please enjoy your hot tea. And 7:15 is the Aarti. Srinathji, you can have darshan, and you can also visit the temple before you all leave. Thank you very much.